Okay, so here we are back. The brake job worked great. Car is good. I haven't died yet, so now I'm going to try to do a coolant flush, including the core, heater core, which is what's used to heat the cabin. So to do that, there are these two hoses that go back to the firewall, one of these two parts. And what I'm trying to do is figure out which is the inlet and which is the outlet, because you're supposed to back flush these. So follow me here. I'm not sure which is which. This is something that's on the truck that says it's for filling or flushing, but I'm not sure how to use that. I don't have any fitting that would fit into there anyway. But I'm trying to figure out which is which. Is this coolant going in and this coming out? I'm not sure. So here's what I'm trying to figure out. This one here ends up going up to the top of the engine. This one, if you watch it come down here, ends up going to the lower side, the bottom part. And if I look at the radiator, the top hose on the radiator is what comes out nearer the top of the engine. And the lower radiator hose is down there, the tip of my finger. So I'm assuming that this, for instance, makes sense. This coolant comes out here, comes along here, and goes into the radiator, and then trickles down and gets cooled, and goes back. So if the upper hose is what's going away from the engine, that would mean this is the upper coolant hose, and this should go away from the engine. So I'm thinking this one is the inlet. So I've put an arrow going into the firewall, and I put a dot there so I know which side is which. And I'm going to say this one is the coolant that comes out. Now when you back flush this, you should put your hose water in the outlet. So I'm assuming I'm sticking it on this side. Anyway, that's my plan. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, of course, do the rest of the radiator flush itself. To prep for this, what I did was I drained some of the radiator out, maybe 500 mils or so, and put in some cleaner, some radiator cleaner, and drove it around for a while like that with the heater on full blast. So the hope is that stuff is coming through here and cleaning the heater core as well. Driving around for a little while. I'm going to keep driving it today, and then tomorrow I'm going to then, when this thing's all nice and cool, actually do all the draining and flushing. So I looked around and I found this drawing on the internet. Seems official, and they're showing, I think, the same thing. Here's the thermostat, and here's the coolant going out to the radiator. So here's their coolant going back into their heater core, and their out line is going down to where the water pump is. So I think that's what's happening. This guy dives down into the water pump. This one comes off from the thermostat. So from the thermostat should be in. So that's what I'm going with. Okay, so to begin this job, you need a bucket and a funnel. You need a bunch of distilled water. You need some antifreeze, and then I have some, this stuff, which is the cleaner. I've already put one batch through the radiator. Remember, it's been driving for a couple days like that. I have a thermostat coming in to replace my thermostat, and you might need some ratchets and stuff to do that. So here we go. So our first step is to make sure that everything is cold, and it is. So I'm going to open the radiator cap to make it so you don't pull a vacuum and the liquid will come up better. So you undo this sucker. Coolant actually looks pretty good, but I've also been dinking around with the coolant for quite a while. Now you want to drain it. So you can drain it by getting rid of the hose, but I am going to do it by the lower hose. I'm going to do it by simply unloosening that petcock down there. There's a petcock right here. Just plastic, but I think it's going to be fine. I'm going to unloosen that, and I should have a bucket under, and it should drain out. Oh, there it goes. Just going to unloosen it and let it drain. I don't know how far you unloosen it. It seems like as I unloosen it, it goes quicker, so I'm going to loosen it to about there. And just let it roll. Now this car, you find out what your capacities are by reading your manual. This thing takes, I want to say, a little under, it says 7 liters? No, not 7 liters. A little under, I'll have to check. Okay, so in the manual here, it says cooling system, 2.9 liter engine without air conditioning. It says is 7.2 quarts, 6.8 liters. Okay, so I need basically 7 liters. And if you look at the stuff, let's see. This stuff is basically, well, 3.8 liters. So if I basically put twice as much, so dilute this with the same volume of distilled water, I'll be at capacity, so that'll work great. And that means I got enough of my little distilled waters to do my flushes, because basically 2 of those will do a flush, and I'm planning on doing 2. I might even do 1 flush just with the hose, I'm not sure, with tap water. But 2, and then I've got 2 left to do the 50-50 mix. So I think I'm pretty good to go. While I'm waiting for that stuff to drain, I may as well loosen these. I'm going to be pulling them off anyway. There's little slots for screwdrivers, but I find that it's easier to just use a dang ratchet hose. And I guess the most important thing, really, I don't know how important it is to really back flush it. I guess because of the directionality, it might make sense that you want to back flush, because all of the sort of flow is the one direction, and it's going into the fins a certain way, because the little heater core is basically looks like a kind of a, at least from what I understand, it basically is like a little radiator. So I suppose if you're flowing into those fins the whole time, it would be better if you went the other way. So I think we got this. So what we're going to do, once this thing slows down a little bit, is we're going to attach a hose, if I got the right diameter, to this side, and put hose water, tap water, in the outlet, and we'll collect it out here in a bucket, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so once this is all drained out, it took longer than I thought. This stuff, of course, is poisonous, and cats and dogs and squirrels and apparently children will drink it because it's sweet, apparently. So you got to get rid of it safely. So that's why it pays to have a cat. Not so that cat can soak it up, but because kitty litter comes in a huge jug, and you can put this stuff in the kitty litter jug, and then you can take it to your recycle center or your auto parts store or wherever it is that actually recycles it. We do have to drain the coolant from here, so I'm going to take this little hose, I'm going to pull it off and put something under it, a cup under it, and try to siphon this off with a syringe. We'll see how that works. I'll go try to set that up. There was no need to siphon. I just pulled it off and gravity helped. I think it's out of the... Yeah, it's all gone in there. I actually cleaned this thing out a while ago because I put in a new windshield washer pump, which is down here. So I took this whole thing out and cleaned it out, so it's pretty clean. But this dripped right out, so I didn't have to siphon anything. I love physics, so we'll put this back in. Okay, so we've got these unloosened, at least by here. I've never taken these apart, so I don't know how easy they're going to be to remove. So I want to attach my little hose attachment this way, is where my water is going to go this way, and it's going to come out this way. That way it's opposite our feeds if we did this right. Put some towel under there, and these should come off, twisting a little bit, but you got to twist it enough to make to sort of break the yep. But you gotta be careful because you don't want to do any damage. So you just kind of work methodically. They sell tools for this job specifically, which would make much more sense to get. But I don't have that tool. So I'm just putting these vice grips on here very gently and attempting to rock it back and forth and twist it. There, it looks like it's twisting. Okay. Loose. All right. Let's get the other one while we're here. So it goes the same way. Well, actually, let's take the other one off, because if it comes off okay, it'll be easier to get to the other one. So, okay, it's going to come right off. I don't know if any kind of gack is going to come out. And if it does, I'll catch it there as best I can. These are plastic or metal, I don't know which. The actual connection here, so I think you probably should be careful. Mine look like they're plastic from here so far. Almost. Yeah, and there's nothing in there. Oh, there was something in there. I just spilled it down onto from the hose here. That's not a big deal. I'm not worried. That's fine. I can clean that up. I just fell on the engine and a little on the ground, which I will clean. And do the same with the other side. Grab it back and forth. And it looks like it's broken loose. Carefully pull it off again. It comes there. There's a little bit of coolant in there, and that's okay. So I will take these and put them somewhere where they're not going to cause any problem. Maybe here. So now I'm going to hook up my water hose, going to come from the hose, from my house hose, into this side. And I will go get that equipment. Let's see. I hope I have the right hose, the right diameter hose, a long and a short. So I'll put the short one on here. Seems to fit fine. Hope it's tight enough. So again, that's the side that goes water in. Okay, so that goes water in. I'm going to take this little guy I just bought at Ace Hardware and stick him on this other end here. That's fine, and I'll put this on the hose. And I got this big long piece I'll stick on here on the other side. Stick it in there. The other end's just going to go into the bucket. Okay, I'm going to bore you one more time, more for me than anything else. If you know how to do this, just forget it. Go to a different picture. I've got my supposed outlet. I'm going to shove water in there so that water is connected to my hose. The little connection there is fine. And then I've got my, what would have been the inlet is going to be the outlet, and all the stuff is going to come out hopefully into that bucket. And we'll just see what happens. I'm going to do it kind of gently here. we go. There goes the water, and there goes the coolant. Looks like coolant to me. Certainly doesn't seem like it's horrible, ugly stuff. It looks like it's going through. Maybe and look at this, already clear, coming out clear. Maybe I will squish the hose at least a little to make a surge. So I'm going to clamp the hose and then give it a shot. See if that does anything. I don't want to damage anything. So the hose is barely on. Ooh, there's crud coming out of there. How cool. Oh my goodness, there is kind of crud coming out. If you see, there's particulates coming along here. And a couple times you see like a rock scale or something. Okay, I'm going to crimp this again. I'm going to increase the pressure just a little. I'm nervous to do it too much. I don't want to hurt the heating core. Do a little more pressure, not a lot. Everything's working good. I'm going to try to crimp one more time with that pressure and hope I don't blow something up. And crimp, shove. Wow, there's junk coming out of there. Crimp, shove. There's all kinds of, looks like rocks coming out. My bucket's getting full here. I'm going to have to stop. Crimp, shove. Goodness gracious, there is stuff coming out. Wow, maybe this is a good thing to do. Crimp, let go.